The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now numerous other countries, pose a challenge to the United States of America and have a gross domestic product that is greater than the total GDP of the G7 nations. Even members of the Taliban spoke out and said, "Hey, we don't see ourselves on the bill." Where exactly are we at this moment? The positive news is that they were not allowed to enter, but BRICS is now a group of countries that are working together to create BRICS Pay, a payment system that has the objective of unseating the United States dollar as the dominant currency in the world. On the other hand, the currency is gaining strength, and Russia has indicated that they might not abandon the dollar when Donald Trump is re-elected, so there is a possibility that we will witness some fascinating developments. In the video that I'm going to share with you today, I'll explain what took place during the BRICS meeting and how it might influence our investment. Let us travel back in time to the 1930s. The 1930s were a difficult time for the United States of America. That was a terrible circumstance. Unemployment affected 1/4 of the population, and the economy remained in a state of stagnation. Everything was different after World War II. After it started producing supplies for the war, the United States economy began to recover from the Depression. The United States of America became an economic superpower as a result of this decision, and the dollar became the most important trading currency in the world. At the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, the United States of America took use of its economic power to establish the dollar as the reserve currency of the world. It was backed by the majority of nations since their economies were struggling. The United States dollar served as the basis for these countries' currencies. The direct link between the dollar and gold was severed by President Nixon in the 1970s, which marked the beginning of the period of fiat money and the subsequent downfall of the dollar. At the most recent summit, one of the most ambitious announcements was made regarding BRICS Pay, which is a payment system that does not need dollars. There is a great deal of intrigue surrounding the problematic origin story. In 2019, the Bank of International Settlements of Switzerland initiated the development of CBDCs, which is a global payment system that is competitive with cryptocurrencies. Project mBridge, a distinguished payment system, was initiated by Switzerland in collaboration with 2 partner banks. In the year 2021, they reached the MVP, or minimum viable product phase, during which they tested it and were able to immediately transport billions of dollars all over the world for almost no cost at all. A little more than a week ago, the BIS made a sudden decision to withdraw from the project. They left after mBridge's success because China, the United Arab Emirates, and Iran, the new members of the BRICS, were the ones who established it. A new payment system called BRICS Pay was introduced at the BRICS meeting that is currently taking place. This has raised concerns that Putin and Russia would use mBridge to build their very own BRICS payment system, a BRICS-specific version of Apple Pay, if you will. In addition, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates were welcomed as new members at the summit. All nations have their own distinct set of competencies and resources. Africa, the Middle East, and Asia are all potential expansion areas for them. Additionally, during this summit, they reached an agreement to strengthen the new development bank by providing loans to developing countries. They intend to finance at least 30% of the borrowing countries' currencies as an alternative to the International Monetary Fund. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, which is now a central bank, offers financial assistance to developing countries in exchange for policies that are favorable to the United States and the West. This new development bank, on the other hand, will be able to provide loans without Western limitations, which will make it more desirable to nations that wish to bypass the United States. To facilitate simpler repayment, the NDB will lend money to developing countries in currencies other than the US dollar. The next question I have is how it would affect my portfolio of stocks, Bitcoin, and real estate. A competing financial company may generate a significant amount of doubt by developing new trading techniques that are independent of Wall Street's authority. This is something that we are aware of, and investors abhor ambiguity. There is the potential for a commodities exchange supported by the BRICS nations. The costs of oil and grain could shift if it becomes more popular. The United States may lose its influence on the prices of commodities around the world. Like OPEC with oil, but with a wider range of businesses on a larger scale. As new countries join, the BRICS group is luring nations that have a sense of being sidelined by Western policy. Countries like Turkey and Saudi Arabia, along with a large number of others, are interested in joining. Indeed, why not? Countries that seek independence or find themselves in disagreement with U.S. policy can benefit from BRICS. Depending on the outcome of this option, the dollar might be used less in international trade. As we generate more dollars to pay off our debt, which is anticipated to occur within the next few decades, more money will remain in the United States. As a result of more dollars remaining at home and chasing fewer goods, prices will increase. First, take a step back and think about this from the perspective of an investment. Does a category of assets that do not undergo a red or green turn for the same reasons as the others? I go for something that has some worth on a global scale and is getting more expensive. In a remarkable study that was carried out by UBS, it was discovered that more than 85% of high net worth individuals believed that art was a more secure investment than stocks. Over the past year and a half, ultra-wealthy individuals from China have spent more money on art than anyone from any other location, and the art sector is expanding at a rapid pace all over the world. If the BRICS nations are successful in developing other payment systems and enticing additional nations, the world may eventually move away from using the dollar as the reserve currency. Due to the fact that inflation drives up the prices of both groceries and assets, it is essential to make long-term investments in global assets. Enjoyed the content? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Your support keeps us going. Let us know your thoughts.